Welcome back to the Proper Football Podcast, where we bring you all the latest news and announcements in the footballing world. We got a plethora of stuff to talk about today in this episode. We got, the EPL. We got transfer news. We got a little something else up our sleeve. Just stay tuned. And before we get into any of that, make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. We want to continue to produce the best content that we can. So let us know how we're doing in the comments, and let us know how we're doing with the likes and the subscribes. If it's your first time, definitely subscribe and leave us a like as a courtesy. And if you're watching our podcast, make sure you comment and leave us 5 stars. So let's get into it with the scoreline summary for the EPL this week. We had Nottingham face Spurs, and Spurs take a 2-0 win. Chelsea defend against Sheffield and win 2-0. Man City bottle it at the end and draw against Crystal Palace 2-2. Newcastle with a convincing win against Fulham 3-0. And Everton and Sean Dyche go back to Turf Moor and beat Burnley 2-0.
We have Arsenal 2-0 against Brighton. Brentford versus Aston Villa. They lose 2-1. And we have West Ham United play Wolves, and they win 3-0. Liverpool and United with a draw 0-0. And unfortunately, Luton Town and Bournemouth didn't get to finish the game due to Tom Lockyer, and he collapsed during the game. So it's nice that they stopped the game, and they're going to replay it when they can.
Yeah, you got when certain extenuating circumstances that happen like that, you got to pause the game, abandon the game against the Premier League, decided to replay the game later. So prayers go to Tom Lockyer. Reports saying that he is in stable condition. He is responsive and alert, so that's good news. Hopefully he can recover, and if he decides to continue his career, all the power to you, brother. But all your prayers you're in our prayers, and hopefully you can make a speedy recovery.
All right, so now we're going to transition to Liverpool and United. This was supposed to be the best game of the week.
Might have been the worst.
It was the worst game of the season.
Wow.
Just because I feel like everybody's expectations was really high for Liverpool standards, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew how United were playing throughout the season, throughout Champions League. And Liverpool needed the points because they were in first and they're fighting for the title right now,
right?
Not United. So for a team that's fighting for the title, 0-0 draw, it's a big hit for them because it's not the first time they drew a game where they should win.
Right.
They tied against Luton Town 1-1 this season, fam. So just think about it. How many people triple captained Salah that week? And he probably, I don't even know if he scored that game, honestly. But, people were, probably convinced he's going to go off. He's going to, you know what I'm saying? Liverpool going to win.
Yeah.
Yada, yada. But 2 games this season. Luton Town United, 6 points to gain, 0 grabbed.
I mean, 2 grabbed because of the draw.
Well, feels like 0.
Feels like 0. And that's what I was going to say. Like, for Liverpool, this feels like a complete loss. And we had Van Dijk talk about it after the game, so we'll talk about that later. But, like, not only should you have won it because of how Man United are right now, we can even look a year in the past and what happened last year with the 7-0 thrashing that Liverpool gave Man U. But not only that, you have that confidence, that remembrance that, hey, we know how to play this team, and we spanked them last time. Let's go make sure we bring out the same intensity. Yeah, maybe we don't have the same players that we did last year, but we have a progressive team that's looking to improve and really playing well at the moment. And then you have a Man U squad that has injuries galore, suspensions like Bruno Fernandes. Harry Maguire got injured against Bayern. Luke Shaw wasn't even 100% fit playing, even though he played. I mean, just you can go on and on and on. Eriksen.
Varane coming into the squad hasn't played in a while.
Like October.
Like, these are the moments when you come in and say, hey, we're going to capitalize.
Right.
And it didn't seem like they wanted to do that. I mean, we see with the chances, 34 chances to United 6 chances.
It's outrageous, man. 34 shots against any team, at least 1 or 2 got to go in.
You said it. You know what I'm saying? But are they really chances or are they half-ass chances? You know what I'm saying? Shooting outside the box, like not being creative enough. And I don't know. United too, I played everybody. Everybody played. They looked like they played 11 in the back.
Yeah, 11, a back line of 11 players.
So, and I mean, it worked out. They got the point. And that's what it seemed like they tried to do. You know what I'm saying? They go over there, hey, we want 1 point. All right, you got 1 point.
Yeah.
You mission accomplished. But for Liverpool, now the following week, you got to go and play Arsenal. And Arsenal's not a team that's going to be like, hey, come in, walk into our yard and, you know what I'm saying, take 3 points. I don't know where they're playing. Are they playing
They're playing at Anfield.
Anfield? All right, whatever. Even if
still,
that's Anfield.
Yeah.
Arsenal's not going to give them the 3 points.
And look how many times, even the previous away game where Luton, how they came back from behind. Like, this team is notorious for coming back from behind and scoring late goals. You never know what Arsenal. They're really in good form. They're in first place with the loss with Liverpool now. So, Liverpool really has to capitalize on this. And it kind of is dependent on how Man U came out to play and defend, like you said. Like, you're shooting 34 shots, but how many of those are quality shots? Like you said, they're half chances, if you will. So I was a little surprised on how Liverpool just continued to play the same game the entire match, just shooting and shooting and shooting. If you have a team that's continuously backing up, defending, everybody's defending, and the long shots ain't working, why not be a little bit more creative? Why not put some more dribbling into the box, a little intricate passes? There wasn't really any of that, especially from the players that you expected from, like Luis Diaz. I remember last year when he first came in, dribbling galore, beating his man at will. And now it's like he's a complete shadow of himself.
There's days that, he looks the same, but then there's obviously days that, like for today, but for that game at least, you can just say like, like you said, he's a shadow of himself. Even Mo is just one of the biggest guys. He's the biggest guy on the team when it comes to name, stats, anything you want to say.
He's a face of the club.
He's a face of the club. He's got to be the guy that's going to say, put his foot down and say, hey, I'm not going to accept defeat. You know what I'm saying? If it's not him, it's got to be someone in the squad.
Right.
Like, someone has to say that. Like, bro, like Van Dijk as the captain, at that moment, yell at everybody, fam. I don't care. Yell at everybody. You get the point. Someone scores. You get the 3 points. Hug them after, kiss after the game. I don't care what you do. But go out there and fight for the team.
Yeah.
Fight for the opportunity to come and win the league again. When City is not doing well right now, that's when you come and climb and get all these points.
You're right. Yeah, that's the times where you capitalize. When your arch nemesis is down, you got to make sure that you're on the up. Because you know how Man City rolls. They're going to eventually clean things up based on history. But, yeah, for the 90 minutes that you're on the pitch, it's war. It's a war against the other team, and they're coming to your home. So you got to defend and make sure you don't come out with any casualties, if you will. So, yeah, it was a little strange by Liverpool. I mean, even the crowd seemed like, when I think Anfield, I think about that buzzing feeling. I didn't feel that throughout the game. And, there's so many, not so many, but there's distinct clubs that, like, you think going to their home is like a disadvantage you going. Like, playing at Liverpool, at Anfield, is like an advantage for Liverpool. Playing at Dortmund is an advantage for Dortmund. It's like you have an extra player, in a sense. In this game, I didn't feel that atmosphere. Because usually you can feel it through the TV. It seems like even the fans are like, yeah, can we win against Man U? Are we gonna score a goal? This is a time where you want your fans to rally together and support your team rather than just sitting back in the silence and hoping.
Shoot, they could have had me at the game because I was yelling and screaming to my TV. But I mean, all things considered, bro. Yeah, we tied, but at least it's a tie. Gain 1 more point. And I'm happy as a Liverpool fan regardless. Like, I've seen Liverpool at their worst, at their best. I'm here regardless. You know what I'm saying? So, little hiccup, all right, cool. But now, when it's time to execute, you make sure you do that. And you got to do that against Arsenal. And if you do that against Arsenal, that's a big statement.
That is true, and we're gonna have to wait until this weekend for that. So we talked about the game, how it went. I guess an analysis. I kind of want to dive into like maybe specific players that I can't really say stood out, but I would say stood out like a sore thumb as far as disappointing. And I think one of the players for Liverpool at least, and we'll get into Man U as well, was Darwin Núñez. And it's not just this game; it's been a run of form of where he just can't find a goal.
Yeah.
What do you say about that for a player that just cost $80 million and you're supposed to be the main man up top?
Well, it is kind of tough when you put the price in effect, you know what I'm saying? And you got a guy like Gakpo on the bench that's not getting as much minutes as you, and it's like you're lollygagging. You know, you got all this opportunity, all this time, and you're not producing. Maybe you're getting a shot, but you love hitting a post. You know what I'm saying? Maybe just not being in the right areas. You know, I don't know. Is he the guy for the long term? I don't know either. I like the guy. I think all his attributes like speed and, you know what I'm saying, his shot power and his height, strength, he got it all. Now can you
finish?
Yeah, can you finish? Can you find a way to lock in? If it's not finishing, help your teammates, you know, be a distraction on the field, you know, cause havoc. Bro, the back line, Johnny Evans, fam. Bro, there's no reason why
You're right.
you shouldn't be able to blow past this dude and score a goal.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's not the I'm not blaming him. He's not the one to blame.
Of course.
Everybody on the team needs to be held accountable.
That's right.
You know? That's just my truth. But Darwin, he definitely needs to step up his game. He needs to start scoring. You know, it doesn't have to be every game, but he has to start scoring every other game.
I agree. And like you said, to become a distraction, you have to be a threat. And if you're not a threat, you're a waste in a sense. And like you said, Gakpo, you know, they got him at a bargain, and he plays a similar position, maybe a different style. But, you know, if someone's producing more, and we always give these players, especially if you come from a different league or a different country, like a kind of like 6 months to a year to kind of get used to the league.
Yeah.
Darwin Núñez has been here for over a year. He's been here for 18 months now. Last year was his past year. And now we're going into 11 games without a goal, and you're a number 9. It's time for you to start producing, and maybe it's time for Klopp to make a big decision on, hey, I'm only putting you on the bench so you can show me that I really need to play you.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like we spoke about many times, you know, like with I forget his name. I'm off something today. From Arsenal, Raya.
Yeah.
You know, when you make mistakes, you're on a bench. Yo, honestly, maybe you need to start doing that because, you know, growing up, you know how it was? Our coaches weren't shy to be like, yo, you had a shitty game. You're on the bench next game. Or you're at practice, you're playing around, you're not producing.
Yep.
You're on the bench next game.
And vice versa. Hey, I've been seeing you working hard in training. I know you haven't been getting a lot of game time, but I'm going to start you today. And you've been in good form.
I can't speak on Gakpo on his training ability, but for what I can see today, he just scores a goal
Against West Ham in the Carabao Cup.
Yep. There was another goal he scored when he got injured. It was a little while back. But, man, this dude is a proper false 9. This guy could play in the midfield. He could play out left if he needs to. I think the problem with him is that he wears a lot of hats. He can play a lot of positions.
Right.
So it's a good guy to have on the bench. Boom. All right. He could play left wing in case. He could play attacking mid, center mid in case. But Darwin is a designated striker.
Right.
But we haven't played with a designated striker, you know, for years. We had Bobby, false 9. I felt like Gakpo was like learning under his wing while he was still there. And I don't know, man. I think Gakpo should start the next few games at least. I'm not saying for throughout the rest of the season. Just give the guy a shot.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It would be really good for him. And, hopefully, well, not hopefully, but as a neutral, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Hopefully for Liverpool and their fans, they can start figuring things out because you got to win the games against Luton and Man U when they're in bad form. Especially
Damn, that's 6 points to game, bro.
And that's big because now you're behind in Arsenal. And one more player I want to talk about on the Man U side, because I know we've been focusing a lot on Liverpool, is someone who didn't start for Man U, usually
Rashford,
does.
huh?
Marcus Rashford, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
yeah.
I think Darwin Núñez is pretty, disappointing, but Rashford has really been almost depressing to watch.
Yeah, I thought he was a good player. Matter of fact, I think he's still a decent good player.
Yeah.
But I would say he's definitely an overrated player. He has these spurts that he comes out and he starts doing like crazy things, and then he goes off the grid. Like, you don't know who's this guy. Like, Roy Keane saying he looks like Martial. You know what I'm saying?
Not a bad shout.
And this is a guy that is a homegrown player, played for United the whole time. Those players need to be the guys that are always hungry, because it's a bigger thing. It's like, I have love and passion for this club. I'm going to go hard. You know what I'm saying? And he looks like he's just going and collecting a check.
Yeah, I mean, even your coach that rates you so highly, for him to put you on the bench, Ten Hag is the type of coach where I don't see him really benching players that he really likes. He'll bench you if he really don't like you.
Yep.
But play that he really likes, like Rashford, you really have to be doing really bad for him to put in a 19-year-old Garnacho to start in front of you.
But Garnacho deserves it.
He deserves it. But does he have he doesn't have the experience yet. Rashford went to the Euros, went to the World Cup, has been at Man U, pretty much had a FIFA video game designed around his career, if you think about it, with Alex Hunter. This is a time where he should probably be in the captain role. If it wasn't for Fernandes, maybe he should be the captain. But right now, he can't be the captain. He comes on off the bench and makes no impact at all. You might as well play with 10 men, because that's what you're really playing with. If you're playing with Rashford out on the left, up top, it doesn't matter really where you're putting him. And he really needs to figure something out, because he's really not going to go to England in the Euros if he continues, because he's not getting
There's
games.
No way, fam. You gotta bring in Raheem Sterling. If they're doing that, that's crazy. If they're allowing Rashford to come and they're dropping Raheem again, that's wild. Raheem
crazy.
Been doing everything he can to get back in that team. He's one of the main men on Chelsea right now. And then like for all the accolades and all that other stuff, I don't care what you've done.
What are you doing?
I don't care about your stats. I don't care about what car you're driving. I don't care about nothing, bro. Garnacho's been... even Garnacho, the goals he scored, incredible goals. But as far as playing, dude, this guy is really coming forward and attacking people, being skillful on the ball. You know what I'm saying? Having people back up from him. That's what you want from your winger. You know what I'm saying? You want someone that's going to challenge your right and left backs and center backs, whatever you want to call it. But Rashford, not the guy right now. Can he be? Possibly. But it can't keep going on like, you're good now. Oh, no, I'm not here right now. You got to be consistent, man.
Yeah, and you got to be there not only for yourself, but for your club, because they're counting on you to produce, especially if they're paying you these almost 200-something thousand
Fam,
a week.
He's one of the highest wages on the team.
It's a dangerous game, this money game, man. But Man U's looking rough, so we'll have to see if they can pick it up. But there were some former Man U players that wasn't too happy with the result, or even some comments that were made after the result. We saw Van Dijk come after the game in an interview and pretty much say, "Hey, Man U didn't come to play. They were ecstatic with a draw. We came to play and win. We're really disappointed with just 1 point out of the possible 3." And Mr. Roy Keane has some words.
But even before Roy Keane, do you think he's at fault for even saying that one team was trying to win the game?
I mean, I think that's a fair thing to say. Hey, how do you think the game went? Hey, the way I saw it is we came up with a game plan to come and attack. But we saw the other team came and defend, and that's how I saw it.
But if it was the opposite side of the fence and they did bad, completely bad, you think he would say that they did bad? I think Van Dijk would say they didn't have a good game.
I think he'd be honest, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And go on from that and just say, hey, we got to push, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But Roy Keane's side is definitely all emotion. He has love for the club. He's played there, all his life. Legend. And wild guy on the field.
Wild, to say the least.
Yeah, so knowing all those facts, he's going to come back and say something. But calling Van Dijk arrogant is kind of wild for me, but it is what it is. Maybe he'll realize, like, oh, maybe I was tweaking a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he's that type. I think he's the arrogant type.
I think
he is the arrogant type. The narcissistic type in a sense.
But Van Dijk also said, like, he understands, like, why he would feel that way. So,
he responded?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So he understands that, how he would feel, because, he played for United. But
that's classy, man. That's a good response.
But Van Dijk is not no arrogant guy. If anything, I feel like he's calm.
Yeah, humble.
Humble, 100%. But yeah, that's the Liverpool game. Only player for me that played really good was Tsimikas.
Tsimikas, man, I think he's a great utility player that you can call upon at any point, especially with Robertson out. I'm sure when Robertson's back healthy, he's gonna come back straight into the starting lineup. But when Liverpool needs him, I think he's really coming out and performing and really doing a little bit more than what he's expected to do. A little bit more attacking, a little bit more defensive aggression, a little bit more crosses to kind of fill in and almost make the team look a little better than we expected.
Yeah, that is true. But also, when you start to play week in, week out, I would hope you start to improve,
right?
Day by day. And that's what he's been doing. And it's tough that, reality, he's going to go back to the bench when Robertson comes back because Robo is probably the best Liverpool left back they ever had.
Yeah.
But for his time now, he's showing that, bench players can come in and make a change too. So.
Like you said, he's going to go right on the bench. Tsimikas is coming into his prime. Is this somewhere where he should be looking for another club to get more games? Or maybe we should pause right there and move on to the next section and talk about some transfers?
Yeah, we could talk. We're going to talk about the transfers, but I don't think he should go anywhere. I think, he should stay in a club that he's loved and his best friend Mo is there. You know what I'm saying? So
they're really close friends.
They're close. Yeah, they're tight. So, yeah, just stay with Mo, man, and just stay with Liverpool because I like Tsimikas a lot.
Yeah, he's a good player, man. I like him. So, moving along into some transfer news, we thought it'd be a good idea with the transfer window opening up in January just to go over some of the top teams in the English Premier League that probably need a new signing to progress to the next level or even to maintain where they're going for this year and into the following year. So, we picked 8 teams in the Premier League that need a new transfer in to bolster their squad. So we'll start with my squad. And there's going to be like some realistic, probable transfers that could or could not happen. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below. For me, Chelsea, we have many frailties, I guess you can say. A lot of things to work on. But one thing for sure that we definitely need to start winning some games is a striker. We have Nicholas Jackson that we took a gamble on for $40 million, and he's scoring only when it's guaranteed for him to score when we're playing against 9 men against Tottenham, when we're playing teams like Luton and all these teams. He's wasting a lot of players, a lot of chances that we should be winning these games if we had a designated striker. And one striker that's on the market that's currently hasn't played at all this season, but scored 20 goals last season, is none other than English international Ivan Toney. I think he would just be a guaranteed 20 goals a season type of player.
Based on his stats before, I'd say that. But right now, I still think it's a big gamble because it's a guy that has not played in a long time. And then, the type of money that Brentford want for him.
Yeah, so. Brentford want like 70, 80, maybe even 90 million. But come on. Yeah, his contract ends in 18 months. Now is the time to cash in because other clubs are going to want him. Chelsea probably need him the most, and he's someone that can really help Chelsea because he can score with his head. He can score penalties. He can score in a box. He can dribble, can pass, and combine. I think that's something.
So he takes Cole Palmer's penalties now?
Hey, I say let Cole Palmer take the penalties until he misses one. And then find a new one because he just came in because, we just didn't really have a penalty taker. But I think that'll be a really good signing, especially with Nkunku back. And I mean, that would be scary. And Nicholas Jackson's gonna have to prove himself, and maybe this can be the right step for him to actually work on his finishing.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. I'm a big fan of Ivan Toney. I think he's a great player. Yeah, I think he's proven that he's one of the best strikers in the league, at least from his stats from last season. And Nicholas Jackson looks like the tap-in king. I don't know, fast player. I backed him up a lot during this podcast. I think he's still good, but maybe it's time to get someone to push him to be a better player. They got Nkunku back. He can play up top if needed, but I'd rather see Nkunku right behind a solid striker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tired of Chelsea taking these gambles on these players that may or may not work out for all these bags of money. If we're going to spend money, let's spend money on someone that's going to guarantee us some goals.
Yeah.
That's proven in the league and that's hungry to come back after that long stint out.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I like it. All right, so I have United. So I was stuck between two players, but
they might need 11 players.
Yeah, true. But out of the two, I'm gonna stick with Seriu Guirassy. Great player. He's 27 years old. He's a striker. He could go in January because his release clause is 17.5 million, and that's a good price. And I don't care. Like, any team could afford that. Say, they let Ivan Toney go to Chelsea. You could get this guy if you need. You know what I'm saying?
Brentford can afford him. Yeah, if Brentford can afford it, any big club can afford
So, I feel like United should take this gamble. He has 17 goals and 1 assist in 14 games.
That's outrageous numbers, bro. That's really crazy numbers for playing for Stuttgart.
Yeah, they're in third place right now, and he's probably like the second or third best striker in the league. You got Harry Kane, him, and Boniface. They're pretty good. They're up there. And last season, they came in 16th place, and he was able to score 11 goals in 22 games. So, double digits for 2 seasons, and now he's already surpassed, his goal tally from last season.
Going on to double it, if you ask me.
Yeah. So, I think United should take that gamble. Højlund, I'm still going to back him up. I still think he's a good player, but who's another guy that's going to challenge Højlund? Not Rashford, not Martial. There's really nobody up there to challenge him. So if there's anybody, it's this guy. He's tall, he's big, and
yeah,
you get minutes on this team.
Yeah, Guirassy, he's putting up numbers that we really didn't expect, and especially with someone that has a release clause of 17.5 million. Come on, it's almost a given. I think he's the one that's gonna have the most power of what team he wants to go to. Maybe he wants to go to a big club like Man United. Maybe he wants to go to a team that's challenging for titles. It's really gonna be up to him, especially him being 27. And Højlund still not scoring a goal in the Premier League after 12 games. It's a little
He's never played
unacceptable.
for a big major club.
So that could be some pressure.
It could be some pressure, but I would say still a good investment.
Yeah.
Bundesliga is a great league.
Yeah.
And they need a striker anyway, so
yeah, I think
go ahead and purchase him.
I think that'll be a very low risk signing. I'm gonna stick with the trend with strikers. I'm gonna go with Tottenham. Tottenham has been very surprising to me this year, playing very good progressive football on the attack. Okay with making a few mistakes in the back because they know they're gonna get it on the back end when it comes down to the attack. Yeah. And for me, I was very concerned when they lost Harry Kane. I didn't know who was going to step up. I knew Charleston was going to put up the numbers that Harry Kane, maybe not even half of what he put up. And I really thought they needed a big-time striker or someone that was going to be prolific. I know Son. I was really doubtful because I didn't think he would be able to do it by himself, but he's been really carrying that forward line. And I got to give credit to Kulusevski. But I think they need a proper number 9, someone that fits that style of play of pressing, full-blown, aggressive, and willing to, just risk it all to win the game. instead of playing safe. And one player that I haven't really monitored so much this season, but more in the past week, Sporting striker Viktor Gyökeres, the Swedish international, plays for Sporting right now. In 20 games this year, he has 17 goals, 8 assists. Putting up crazy numbers. And I saw him cooking the Porto defense. And I actually watched some other games on YouTube, like highlights of him actually being very versatile in a sense where he can play anywhere. You can put him coming off the wing. He prefer to play off like in the number 9 role, but like look at how Tottenham play. If somebody needs to play up top, they can put Son. They can put Richarlison. They can put Brennan Johnson. If they play, anybody can rotate across those 3 up top. So I think that'll give Tottenham a better chance of coming to top 4, and maybe even push for the title in the next few seasons. He's about 25 years old, going into his prime. He does have a $100 million release clause, which is going to be tough to get him for January. But we got to remember, they just got $120 million for Harry Kane in the summer, so it's not like the money is not there. It's are they willing to take the gamble on a guy who's been playing in the Portuguese league? He does have some experience in the championship. He scored 20 goals and like 12 assists last year. But I think that would be a great shot for them because I think everywhere else on the pitch, they're pretty much solid.
I'm not going to say and act like I know him. I've heard his name. I've heard like there was a striker out there doing insane numbers. But do you honestly think he's worth $100 million right now?
Come on. We know.
Because everyone's getting stamped with $100 million.
Everybody's getting stamped with this $100 million. And, maybe we can blame Chelsea for that kind of, everybody's getting $100 million at least because he can amortize these contracts. But now with that new rule, you can't really do that. But they bought him for $20 million. And these Portuguese clubs, they want to buy them low and sell them high. And buying someone for $20 million in a Portuguese league is kind of high for them. So they want to at least quadruple their profits.
Yes, if they.
But it's a release clause. It's a release clause, so they have to pay it if they want him.
Yeah, but they can still negotiate if they need to.
Yeah.
But I do like hearing that he's able to interchange. So, like, even if he's playing up top and Son's out on the left, say not even worst case scenario, best case scenario, they like, all right, here, you go down here for this play, I'll go up top, and then, just keep swapping. And
I'm telling you, bro, if you're watching this right now, go look up this guy's highlights, especially the game against Porto. If you can find a way to watch the whole game, wow, this guy is electric, man. He's in your face, high pressure, willing to stick his foot into a challenge, no fear. And that fits Tottenham's style of play, especially with Ange Postecoglou and his philosophy on how to play the game.
So, sounds like a good guy. Maybe the $100 million is worth it, especially if it's part of his style.
Yeah.
So, my next guy I have going to Newcastle, I feel like Calvin Phillips. I said it recently, and I'm sticking with it. He's 28 years old, and he needs to land in a team that he can get minutes. No better time. Tonali's out. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's a loan, go out there, prove that you could be a good quality player for the time being, and find another team. Maybe in the EPL, maybe somewhere else. I'm hearing he might go to Juve, but if he wants to be part of Southgate's plan for the Euros, I think it's better to stay close to home. Because,
you know how it goes.
So
we already have English players that play in Italy that don't get a sniff at the England squad.
Yeah.
So I don't want to fall into that
trap.
Yeah.
Trap. So I think, if he's not going to play under Pep, look right here. He has 4 Premier League starts this season. Last season he got 12. And for a guy... Appearances, yeah.
Not even a start in the Premier League.
So I don't know if it starts. I just know it's appearances. So for a guy that I feel like was pretty good at Leeds, I thought he was a proper leader at Leeds.
Yeah.
I think he still can do it. He just needs to find a team that is willing to trust his ability and give him game time.
I agree, man. You already know what Pep said about Calvin Phillips. He's so sorry. He doesn't see him in his plans.
And if he's doing it publicly, bro, he's pretty much saying, go ahead, go.
Pretty much giving you
fly away.
Authorization to be like, hey, man, I really want you to leave this club. Not because you're a bad player, just because I just don't see you in my plans.
Yeah.
Respectfully, disrespectfully, however you want to take it. But speaking of Leeds, he did play for Leeds, and if you remember, Leeds had that kind of like Newcastle style of just go forward and run and play and run until you can't run anymore.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a really good balance to that squad and allow Joe Linton and maybe Guimaraes to go create a little bit more forward so Calvin Phillips can sit in. We know Tonali's out for the rest of the season due to suspension. Longstaff, Joe Willock recently coming back from injuries, so you might want to have someone like Calvin Phillips. Juventus, I think they're doing something smart because, Pogba's out for the rest of his career, and Fagioli is out for the season. So I think Newcastle's a good shout, man. It'll be really good.
Newcastle, too, I don't feel like they've been playing with a defensive mid anyways in recent games. So just to have that option there just in case is good to have.
Yeah.
Extra protection.
And let's see if he sticks with them. I think that's like very probable. Probably 9 out of 10 chance of him going there because it makes sense for me. Who do I have? Aston Villa. The team that's really surprising with the new coach, or a coach from last year that's really progressing them. And I was looking at their squad, and I'm like, the only kind of position I see that they don't really have one of these players, pretty much a left winger. But I didn't really go with a left winger. I went more of a place where they need a little bit more solidity, depth, and backup. And that's at the striker role. Because Ollie Watkins really doesn't have that backup. After Ollie Watkins, you have someone that used to play for Chicago Fire last year.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. No disrespect to John Duran, but we're going to need someone that's a little bit more experienced if we're going to go into the Champions League and Europa League and all these other clubs, all these other competitions and win. And here in the title race, sitting in third. So the player I went for was Gerard Moreno from Villarreal. He's not too young. He's about 29, 30 years old, so he's not really have the most years left, but at the end of the day, he has a history with Unai Emery back in Villarreal when they had that run in the Champions League where they went to the semifinals, beat Bayern, beat all these crazy, almost beat Liverpool, didn't they? Yeah.
Big teams.
So at the end of the day, I think he'll be a good backup just to rotate with Ollie Watkins because you need to have that rotation so he doesn't get injured. He's been playing every single minute, and we've seen players playing an insane amount of games right now, and we know what happens when you play too many games. So I think that'll be a good shout. Villarreal don't really have anything to play for. They're in Europa League. They finished top in their group, but I think it might be the next step for Gerard Moreno to go to the next level in the Premier League. A perfect opportunity with a coach I used to play with. And they're like in 13th place in the league. They're really not going to do anything. It doesn't
seem like they're going to.
So I think that'll be a great move for him to try and get his name out there more.
I think he's a proper player. Yeah, he's left-footed, right?
Left-footed, yeah.
Left-footed, yeah. He did pretty well the past few seasons, but I don't know as far as his stats this season. I don't know if he's really doing his thing.
Yeah, he's like 5 goals and assists or 2, but that could be down to I know he was
could be down to the team too,
and the team isn't doing too well. So I think if he gets back with the coach that he really did the best under, he can have a rejuvenation in his career and do some big things and help Aston Villa move forward.
That's a good shout. So my next guy I got for Man City.
I really like this one right here, man.
Yeah. It's a good one because, since Mahrez left, there's just been like anybody playing in that role. Maybe Alvarez, maybe Foden, maybe what's his name? Bernardo Silva. I feel like they need a proper right winger, someone that's going to play strictly in that position. And I'm going with Pedro Neto. Portuguese international. He's a young guy. He's 23 years old. Perfect time for him to come into the team. Because they just got Jeremy Doku. He's very young too. So give these players time to mold and become complete players at a young age. He has 7 assists right now, and he has 1 goal in the Premier League. But he's still number 1 when it comes to assists. He's tied with Salah, and he's tied with Trippier, and he's been missing games due to injury. So it just shows you that, he's a big player for Wolves, and he's important to the team. So if City can secure a guy like him, it's pretty good. His pass accuracy, They have it as 83%, pretty good. Pep likes guys that can pass the ball.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be a proper guy. EPL experience.
Yeah, and like you said it all. Creative, Portuguese, which I think is an advantage in the Man City team. You got Bernardo Silva, you got Ruben Neves. I'm not.
Ruben Neves.
No, Ruben Diaz.
Yeah.
Ruben Diaz, Mateus Nunes.
Yep.
You know, you have a bunch of fellow compatriots, the same nationality, that's going to help you mold. And I think he fits perfectly into our right wing. It seems like there's a hole there, and he'll fill it up pretty well. So, great shout, man. I think he would do really well in January. They're looking to bolster up for their upcoming competitions and hopefully for them get back into first place. So,
oh, no, we don't want that.
hopefully for them. Yeah, we don't want that at all.
Hopefully not. But who's your next team?
Man City's, I guess, new rivals for this season, I guess, and a little bit last season. Arsenal, looking very strong. Look like they made some good signings in the summer, but maybe missing one or two pieces that aren't really gelling too well. And I think one position that they really need to solidify a little bit more is that striker role. Gabriel Jesus is a great signing to not this season, but last season in the summer. Came from Man City, has that Premier League experience, but he hasn't really been that prolific. And he's actually come out in interviews and saying, hey, goal scoring isn't my forte, but I can contribute in other areas, which is great. But you need a proper goal scorer if you're going to win in the Premier League and if you want to go far in the Champions League. And I think you don't have to be the biggest name on the starting 11, but you do need someone that's going to be able to score. And one player that I've seen in the past year or two, or maybe even 3, really score in big moments is Youssef En-Nesyri, Moroccan international from Sevilla. Tall, big dude, can hold up the ball. I think if you slot him right into Arsenal, he doesn't have to play every single game, but he's kind of like Gerard Moreno's situation. Sevilla is out of all European competition. They're sitting in 14th in La Liga. They just fired their coach. Team's not really playing too well, and he's still a young guy. You know, he's 24, 25 years old?
I thought he's a little old. I thought he's like 26, but... Yeah,
is he 26?
I don't know.
Might be 26.
Even around that age.
Mid-20s.
Still young.
Headed into your prime, this could be a great move. A big club like Arsenal to go make some moves for yourself. And not only that, you know, really help the squad and go forward. So I think it's a good shot because he has that Champions League and Europa League experience. He's been part of that squad for years where they won those 3 in a row or whatever, or at least in that conversation. So
I think it's a good pickup because it's not going to break the bank.
True.
And, you know, you got someone that helped, you know, his national team
go deep.
Very, very far. I think the furthest.
Ever.
Yeah.
Well, they went to semifinals.
Semifinals, yep.
Crazy.
And they had to, play France, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough game. But I think he's a great player for club and country. It'll be a good pickup because it's someone different from Jesus. Jesus doesn't necessarily have to leave the club or anything. He just needs, Arsenal need a different type of player. You don't want to go get a same guy, you know, that can do the same thing as Jesus. Right. Go get someone that's tall, strong on the ball, that can lay off to Saka and Martinelli and be in the box for headers.
Right, especially with those creative players like Saka and Martinelli that can take on their man, but maybe they need to look over and see if someone can get their head on the cross. And Youssef En-Nesyri is definitely an aerial threat.
Tall guy. So my next team I have is my team, Liverpool. There's a lot of positions you could say we probably need, but I'm going with the center back position right now just because Joel Matip is injured due to ACL injury.
Out for the season.
Yeah, out for the season. It hurts. I love Joel Matip. Think he's a great player. He's been in Liverpool since 2016. I think he did his time. And you don't know how a guy's going to come back after ACL surgery at 32, you know. So I'm going to go with Guehi from Crystal Palace. He's a young center back.
Good show.
England international. And I think he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, I think he's really good. We saw last season with Crystal Palace the defensive numbers they put up. This year not looking the same, but that can be due to some injuries like They signed defensive mid out for the season. They just got their goalie got injured. So I think Guehi's a good shout, man. I know him from Chelsea, coming from the academy, and just looking promising. But, during that time, we had some other players that we had in mind to progress. But he's still a young guy, isn't he? 24?
Like 23.
23.
Yeah, I think he's 23.
Wow.
Let's see.
So 23 years
don't
old,
have it.
to learn from players like Van Dijk and a bunch of players with experience would be really good for him. And do you think he starts?
I don't think he's gonna come in and be a starter.
Player?
Definitely rotation, but he'd definitely rotate with what's his name, Konate.
Mm-hmm.
So, 23 years old. Starting, I don't. It's tough though. He's good in the Premier League. He's a good partner with Anderson too. So, I think he's gonna get a start some games for sure, but I don't think he's gonna be a solidified starter. Like right now, 100% is Van Dijk, and whoever else is there is just gonna be either Konate, Matip. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's been. And
yeah, it sucks to hear that from Matip, man. 32 years old, already struggles with injuries as it is. ACL, tough to come back, and hopefully he can come back and continue his career. But contract is ending, and might be a good time to go get a center back to fill in the role while he's out, and then to progress into the further years. So Guehi, man, I can definitely see him in that Liverpool red jersey.
Yep. Last segment of the night, we have Champions League. Champions League was a little wild this year. And kind of wild. I mean, every year you're gonna get the teams that you think are gonna advance, and the teams that are not gonna advance, they do advance. So one team that surprised me the most obviously is United, but we know how they're going right now, but Copenhagen were able to secure that spot. Tough group for them.
Bro, I had them in last when I was making my predictions before anybody started playing, and there's no way they get past Man U and
Galatasaray team's nuts.
Yeah.
Great team.
Great signings they made, and they're going to be in Europa League at least. But Man U, very disappointing. Another team that wasn't as disappointing, but given their prowess in this competition, Sevilla, for me, is gone. They're not even in Europa League, which is their main competition. I thought.
La Liga, they're not doing much.
Not doing much.
Yeah.
Who else? Newcastle. I thought they would have squeaked through, but
their situation tough.
Injuries and all this,
and not even just that. Just the group itself. It was so competitive,
right?
That any team. It was any team's game at certain points, but
literally to the last match day, even at like halftime. At one point, this team's going through. Now, all of a sudden, this person's gonna be eliminated.
Yeah,
it was outrageous. I mean, that's what the Champions League's all about, man.
Yeah.
Full of surprises and spontaneity.
Yeah, that's what you need in these competitions. So, first game, Porto, Arsenal. How do you feel about the draw?
The draw in general, we'll go through the draw, but especially this game right here, I think it's one of the more evenly matched teams. I mean, I think Arsenal's still the favorite.
Evenly matched.
I think it's evenly matched based on Porto was very you really can't predict what they're gonna do. They may not look like the strongest team, but they find a way to defend what they need to defend. Look at who was in their group. Barcelona was in their group, Shakhtar was in their group. Not easy teams, and they actually tied in points with Barcelona.
Yep.
They just didn't come up in first because of goal differentials. Not goal differential, head-to-head. They had a better goal differential than Barcelona. So
they were the first team to get the draw. You know that? John Terry was the one that picked it out.
Oh,
so,
yeah?
Yeah, they were the first team to pick up, and it looked like they were the lady that was there for them. It looked like she was like, man. Because, if you get picked first, there's a bunch of teams that you could go against, and then they get placed with Arsenal, which I think is still going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, man.
But knowing them,
Arsenal,
Porto, they could. I think they can manage. Two-time Champions League winners,
and Arsenal have 0 Champions League.
They were finalists in 2006 and 2007, and Porto won Champions League in 1987 and 2004. Even 2004, you think like, man, this is a surprise because, all these top clubs, you expect them to win it. But back in the days, I guess it was easier for these teams to win too.
Jose Mourinho just pulled off some magic and literally just
then took everybody to Chelsea.
And as soon as he won it, he said, "All right, you guys all come with me. You guys want me to Champions League? Let's do it again."
But
I got Arsenal winning. They'll probably win comfortably at home, maybe 2 or 3 at home, and maybe get a draw at Porto's house. So I have Arsenal going through.
I got them too.
No big deal with that one.
Who's next?
We got Napoli, Barcelona. Now this one was one of the bigger ones.
Yep.
Napoli won the Italian league, Serie A last year. Barcelona won the La Liga, Spanish league last year. So it's a battle of the former champions, I guess you can say. And Diego Maradona played for both of these clubs. Is going to be a very storyline type of fixture, but it's very tough, man. But I'm gonna have to go with Napoli to go through, bro.
Wow,
I say
that's
because
big.
Barca is looking bad. They even just played against Almeria today.
Yep.
They almost lost the game, bro.
Last place team. Fam, that's a disappointment.
Look at teams like Girona's playing great, but these are teams that they should be beating. Tying against Valencia, who's in 11th place. I mean, these are teams that you should be beating. Gavi out for the season. Pedri out for a few weeks. Lewandowski doesn't look himself. Defensively, Araujo looks like a different person.
Yeah.
I know a lot of things can change in 2 months because that's when they'll start playing in February. But at the end of the day, this is kind of like their core right now, and they're in a little bit of a rut. I don't know what they're going to be able to do. Napoli, they're very unpredictable. They went deep into the Champions League last year.
That was their best result in history, going to the quarterfinals.
See what I'm saying? And who's to say that they can't do it this year? I know they're not doing great in the league right now, but then again, this is a Champions League. You're only going to play 2 games, 1 at home, 1 away. It's not about 38 games throughout the season. It's about 2 games. Who can win those 2 games?
Yeah. So, Napoli, 5th place in Serie A. They're not looking the best, too, given how they were playing before the previous season. Wow, this is a tough one. I don't know who wins this game. Man, Barcelona, I might have to agree with you with Napoli.
Whew, that's spicy, man.
It's a tough one, though, because like you said, I didn't think it could happen in 2 months. Barcelona could go and buy a striker. They could get rid of Lewandowski. They can go and, maybe get a defensive midfielder and try to shape things a bit. But I'm going to go with Napoli, too.
Wow.
I like Napoli a lot, too. So,
yeah,
I'll go with that.
Woo, that's going to be crazy. Who's next, man?
So, next we have, man, where did my list go? Next we have, man, I guess you're going to have to take over. Oh, no. PSG and Real Sociedad.
It's another one. You don't know.
PSG coming first in their group. Not an easy group, like we said.
Did they come in first? No, they came in second.
Oh, yeah, they came in second. Yeah. So, yeah, interesting, right? That's why Dortmund placed PSV.
Yeah.
But, yeah, PSG second. Crazy to think.
Yeah.
Real Sociedad is not an easy team to play. They're in 6th in La Liga right now, and they only conceded 2 goals in a Champions League. So what that tells me is they're a great defensive team.
Yeah.
So PSG got a problem on their hands. My boy Kubu plays for Real Sociedad. I'm a big fan of him. Great right winger. And
even the other winger, Oyarzabal.
Oh, yeah.
Great player. Mikel Moreno in the middle. Zubamendi that every other club wants to buy.
Oh, yeah.
The guys are crazy right now, man. What's that guy's name? Mendes. Brais Mendes. He's really good, man.
Yeah.
He plays for Spain,
sure.
too. Woof.
That is.
What a good player that guy is. He plays on a wing or attacking mid. But anyway, for me, Real Sociedad is like the Girona of the Champions League. They're the team that, doesn't look as strong, but they're putting in the performances. They're coming in first place in their group. They're playing possession-style football, and they're scoring goals, man. I mean, I remember watching the game against Benfica, just thrashing them. I had a couple goals off sides, but at halftime it was like 3-0. It was crazy. And against a team like PSG, who's very questionable in the midfield, because they want to put 4 guys up top, 2 in the midfield, and 4 in the back.
Yep.
The outside backs are going to go and attack. Can Sociedad go out there and and make a difference on the transition, I think they will. I have Sociedad going through.
Well, that's a big shout. I'm going to still stick with PSG. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park, but I think PSG can still find a way to secure the win. Who do we have next?
I don't know. My computer died, bro. So I'm going to need you to help me out right here.
So we have Inter versus Atletico Madrid. This, for me, is the most spicy because these are two teams that are actually in form. You know, Atletico, I'm not sure if they're in third place or fourth
Barca
place.
just won today.
Okay.
Luckily. So they're in fourth now, but I think they have a game in hand, so we'll have to see.
But even in that, they scored a lot of goals between Morata and Griezmann together. They're doing better this season attack, at least going forward. Inter Milan, too, look pretty good. But as far as who advances, I cannot say.
You're going to have to, bro. You're
going to
have
to. All right, so, man, I think Inter Milan has a good team on paper, but there's just something about Diego Simeone, man. I just think he's a master tactician. You know what I'm saying? He understands the game. They're a defensive team. I think I might have to go with Atletico.
I wouldn't blame you, man. I mean, you are right. Atletico Madrid scoring more goals this season compared to last season. We already know they're a defensive club. I think their expected goals this season is like 2.3, or compared to last season's like low ones. So they're definitely scoring a lot more goals. Morata scoring, Griezmann scoring, like you said. But I'm going to have to go with Inter Milan, bro. Here's the reason why. They went to the Champions League final last year. Yeah. They did very well. They're in first place in the league right now.
Yeah, they are.
Lautaro Martinez, 17 goals or something like that. Who did they really lose from last year? They lost their keeper, Onana, who I think they did a great replacement for Jan Sommer.
Oh, yeah, no, that was a
great replacement.
Fantastic. I always liked the guy. And Brozovic left, too.
Brozovic. Yeah. But you see Çalhanoğlu playing really well in that position, filling in, and really doing really well, if you ask me. And then they lost Lukaku, who I think they made an upgrade in and getting Marcos Thuram, who has the most assists in the league right now. So I think it's going to be tight, man. Don't get me wrong, but I think Milan will find a way to do something at home and squeeze a win away. I think they can hold a draw at Atletico's house. I just have a good feeling about Inter, man. Lautaro Martinez.
I mean, finalists last season.
And they went to the final last year, so that's what I'm saying. Have experience.
It's not a bad show.
Going all the way, so.
And, during the final against City, I thought it was going to be easy for City, but it clearly wasn't.
If it wasn't for Lukaku missing some chances.
I was praying for Inter to win that game.
Inter could have been crowned Champions League winners last season. Yeah. So let's see if they can get back. Let's go. So I think they might do it, but it's going to be very, very close, man.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Next, we have PSV and Dortmund. This one is going to, for me at least, I think it's a tough matchup still, even though Dortmund came in first. PSV is in first in their league. Dortmund is in fifth in their league. And Dortmund is struggling a little bit, And from the last game I watched was the one with Bayern Leverkusen. It didn't look too good. We spoke about it. But as far as who advance, I think I'm going to go with PSV. I'm going with them.
Wow.
Yep.
PSV undefeated in their league, 16 wins in 16 matches, kind of nuts. But I'm gonna have to disagree, man. I think Dortmund, they're not doing too well in the league, but look at what they're doing in the Champions League, coming in first place in that group of death, beating Newcastle both legs, and also they have that experience in the Champions League. PSV, they're doing really well right now, but I don't see them that have that Champions League experience going far. I mean, for the past 10 years, we can say that Dortmund has made the Champions League and made it out the knockout rounds and continue to go. And
they're the team that will surprise you too.
Exactly.
And they always have new guys coming in and out. So
they have a lot of utility players too that can come off the bench and, hey, someone's not playing well, let me come in here and put in a shift. So I have Dortmund coming in. Not going to be comfortable, but I think Dortmund can get the job done.
All right. I got PSV. You got Dortmund.
We'll have to see.
So, this one I think we might agree a little bit more. We got Lazio and Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich next.
Yeah. It really feels that way. But Lazio, you got to give credit to them for advancing. Right now, they're in 11th in their league, and they plays a pretty strong Bayern that's in second place in their league. This is a tough matchup for them. I don't think they can actually do it, but if they do, will be very impressive.
Yeah, let's be real. Lazio, I like the team. You know, Ciro Immobile, I really like him as a striker, but you know, Bayern is just they're ruthless.
Yeah.
They're a tier or two above Lazio. I mean, it's going to be too much to handle. Got players like Sané, Coleman, Kane, Musiala, and that's just the attack.
Insane numbers.
Putting crazy numbers. They're clicking. They've been playing with each other for years. Even though Kane just came in this, he looks like he's been playing there for 5 years. So it's going to be Bayern through and through for me.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. This one, too, we might agree. Copenhagen and Man City.
Oof, I'm going to have to think about this one, bro.
Yeah, right. Definitely got City winning this one.
Yeah, come on.
City get blessed with Copenhagen. This should be a walk in the park, but I mean, City, the way they're playing, you never know.
We have seen stranger things. Yeah.
But if they continue this runs, you know what I'm saying, for the next 2 months, maybe Copenhagen can do something. Because their group wasn't easy, man. They had to go against Bayern. They had to go against Galatasaray and United. That's a tough group, and you said that you had them in fourth.
So, yeah, I mean, I had them losing the whole game, but at the end of the day, they came in second, which was a surprise to me. But once I started seeing them how they play, they actually can keep some possession. They actually know how to play, man, and especially going at home, they really do well at home. So, could be a surprise, but I highly doubt it. Man City, just too much quality on the squad. And
got De Bruyne coming back, and Haaland should be fit during then.
It's got to be Man City.
So, I'm going to go City too. So, for this one, though, I think this is going to be tough. Leipzig and Real Madrid. Leipzig is the type of team that's creative. They always got new players coming in, you know what I'm saying? So, Xavi Simons, one of my favorite youth players too, doing pretty good on that team. And Real Madrid right now, in their situation, they're doing good in the league. But, Alba, what was it, ACL too?
Done for the season.
Done for the season. You still got Militao out. I mean, they still need
out.
Oh, Courtois out. I seen some things that, what's the homeboy from Chelsea? Kepa. I heard he's not even starting. Or something like that. I heard he's not even starting. I don't know if it's true. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, he's injured, bro. Lunin is the one that's coming in.
Yes.
Lunin is the one that's coming in. Yeah,
they
need a keeper too. Holy crap.
So, there's a lot of things right now. I'm hearing Icardi might go to Real Madrid. They definitely need a center back, but I mean, if they play against Leipzig, I don't think it's gonna be a walk in the park. They have a good team, and they might struggle a bit.
All I have to say is, in Jude Bellingham, we trust, man. That guy is just unbelievable.
Yeah, he just got to pull up like this.
I'm never counting that guy out. And whatever team he goes on, that's probably going to be my favorite for them. So, Real Madrid, they just have quality all over the park. I know they have a lot of injuries, but Vinny's going to be coming back. You know, they have a solid midfield. Kamavinga can play anywhere.
Yeah.
I think they just have too much quality, similar to like Man City. It's just Leipzig,
And they're the team, too, that even though you may feel like they can't do it, they're gonna find a way.
Remember that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Found a way and all the way to the end, man. So we got Real Madrid. If you have any other comments, questions, or concerns, leave them in the comments. Who do you think is going through? And while you're at it, let us know who you think is going to win the entire Champions League. Maybe we'll do a video of that in the future. So until next time, take care. God bless.